Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says his government will begin negotiations with the rebel group, the Oromo Liberation Army. The talks are scheduled for Tuesday in Tanzania. This is the first time the Ethiopian government has formally said it would negotiate with the OLA, which has been battling the government on and off for decades. More recently, the OLA and the government have been blaming each other for a number of attacks in which scores of civilians were killed in the Oromia region.
The negotiation for peace with OLA will begin in a couple of days in Tanzania. The government and the people of Ethiopia need this peace deal very much. All parties taking part in this peace agreement must bear in mind that we won't profit anything from conflict and war. They must also know that under the rule of law, we can forgive one another and build our nation together. We can take the people of Olega out of this current misery. I appeal to all parties to play their respective roles for the sake of peace in Ethiopia.
Let's come on this story from Daniel Kijo, who's live for us in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and Gurum Chala live in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Daniel, let's begin with you. The Ethiopian government and Oromia rebels are in Tanzania for peace talks. What do you know?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Indeed, the much anticipated meeting between these two parties is ongoing as we speak. We know that the Ethiopian delegation led by the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, arrived yesterday and went to meet President Samia Suluhu Hassan at the small State House, or the Zanzibar State House, yesterday. They took photos with the delegation at the State House and they had private talks with the President. However, as it stands today, we have it has not been released by the Foreign Ministry exactly where the meetings will be held, be it Dar es Salaam in Tanganyika or Tanzania mainland, or the Zanzibar where President Samia Suluhu Hassan was, because she's been meeting a lot of foreign delegations since yesterday over the Eid holidays. But Tanzania, as you may know, has served as a mediator on many African issues. There were the mediator in Burundi talks about a decade ago, as well as a lot of historical participation in Southern African talks and conflicts. So indeed, Tanzania is poised as a strong player, as a mediator, a strong track record as a mediator. So it is expected that there could be great outcomes from this meeting.
Right.
As far as it stands, though, we don't know exactly where it is, but they have confirmed the meetings are ongoing.
Okay, so let's cross over to you, Gurum, in Addis. This is the first time for the Ethiopian government to officially announce that it would negotiate with the Oromia rebel group. What brought about the change in the government stance, and how important is this?
Thank you very much. So as you might understand, the Oromo Liberation Army has been there in the jungles of the country fighting against government force for quite some time, since even their return from Eritrea and also the acceptance of the government since the coming of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed into the general situation of the country itself. They said that the people of Oromo did not get the answer they were supposed to, so they said they will continue fighting. Now that we are here today, Ethiopia has got experience solving problems through the African Union mediation efforts and others in Pretoria and also in Nairobi, that peace has returned to the northern part of the country, and there is no other best time for Ethiopia to engage the other rebel group, this time around the Oromo Liberation Army, in peace talks. And this has been there in the making for quite some time. And now that both parties have agreed to speak one another in Tanzania, as my colleague said, the Deputy Prime Minister and also as the Foreign Minister and his delegation are there reportedly in Zanzibar, where the talks are going to be held. And this is really a crucial time for Ethiopia to perhaps make the peaceful activities of the country all-inclusive. The north has been pacified, and the jungles of the Oromia region must also be pacified, so that the country can put its all efforts into developmental activities. This is also according to the government itself.
Okay, and Gurum, what has been the reaction in Ethiopia to the announcement of the peace talks, and what should we expect out of Tanzania?
So reaction generally is hope for peace, because civilians have been suffering, being killed in and being held in a crossfire because of the war that was going on for a long time, for years, if you like, between the OLA and the government forces, especially in Walega, where most activities of war have been held. So many people lost their lives, their livelihoods were also disrupted. Developmental activities, investment activities, and generally day-to-day activities were also disrupted because of this war. So now that there is an light at the end of a tunnel, and after the announcement of the Prime Minister's plan of engaging OLA, many people are saying that this is really indeed a wonderful news to hear, and many also are expecting out of Tanzania that peace will return to the country. The OLA, based on the give and take kind of situation, the OLA and the government will come up to something that is concrete, and as soon as possible through the experience that has been taken from the northern conflict resolution type of modality. So many people are hopeful, many people are happy and also expectant of what is going to come out of Tanzania.